Hello and welcome to the first screencast for the BACE JavaScript 2015 summer course. What I'm going to show you quickly in this video is just the basic workflow that we're going to use just to write our scripts and run them. I find that sometimes if I don't review the workflow, it can be confusing for some people, so I feel like this is the best way to do it. So what we have basically is an HTML file here and a JavaScript file. The JavaScript file just has one line of code in it, and the HTML file has all the things you'd expect. It has the HTML5 doc type, the opening HTML tag and the closing tag, the head with the title of the course, and then a body tag. This is where you'd put your HTML. So if you had a list or something, then you'd put it there. So the idea is that what we refer to our script in the body at the very bottom, the last thing before the body tag closes, and this is just a convention that allows your website to load all the elements before the script file loads. So let's see. So that's the basic idea. So that's sort of like the HTML file is a thing that we load inside the web browser to check this out. So here we are. This is where it is located on my computer. And as you can see, this list item shows up. So in addition, if we want to run JavaScript, we can put this script file reference in the actual HTML page. But we can also do this. We can use I'm using Chrome here, but it's basically Firefox has the same type of tool, which is just developer tools, and this is like a very powerful sort of section of the browser that you might not know about unless you're making websites. So the idea is that it shows you everything that the page has loaded, and so all the elements in your page, but also has a console that allows you to type JavaScript commands into it and get some output. And it's very useful for sort of real-time debugging, testing stuff out. So you're wondering maybe what this hello world is doing here, and that is in the JavaScript file I basically told the console to print out hello world, and that is what's going on here. So as we can see, the JavaScript file was successfully loaded. So not too much else to say about that. And when we write the JavaScript, we're probably going to be using this text wrangler program. So just a quick recap and I'll be done. We have the HTML file, the script file, and then the browser where we load the HTML file, and we can check out to see if there are any errors or in the JavaScript console. And to open this console, I am typing, and I'm using a Mac here, we'll be using Macs for the class. I am typing Option Command J, and you can open multiple developer tools windows, although they are sort of resource intensive, so I would use this whole window tab to check out to make sure you only have one open, because it's a lot of stuff going on in these. Alright, so yep, I hope that was helpful. That's our general workflow. It shouldn't be too complicated. The main thing is just making sure that your files are all in this sort of some predictable directory. I think you'll probably see users student, and you can save them to desktop if you want. You can also save them to just the user student folder, but just note that every time, like basically every day, those computers are wiped of user data. So, oh, that actually reminds me, one more thing. So a way to get around that, if you don't have a USB key or you don't really feel like putting your files on a USB key, you can go to GitHub and create an account. The account is public, meaning like everything you put on there is visible to the world if anybody knows your GitHub username. But it shouldn't really be a problem because we're just sort of learning, and it's just a really convenient way of saving your code and also seeing, you can save versions of it. That's sort of the point of GitHub. And also I should mention that the course has a GitHub page, which is actually where the syllabus is. So I already taught one in the winter, but ours is going to be, you go to github.com/JSWithAlex, and then ours will be BACE Summer 2015. And here we see I have every GitHub, it's a software repository, so it's sort of designed for like hosting code. So you'd have your various code files and then also like a README file, so that when someone downloads that repository, you go to the README file and just read what the programmer wants to tell you, and usually it's some relevant information, and it's often important. So this isn't, this is obviously, I'm not using it for its intended purpose per se, but I see a lot of people having GitHub repositories for not necessarily code, but code-related things. And I just think it's an easy place to keep everything. So what we have here is just the syllabus. Just talks about, obviously it hasn't been filled in yet. I will do that soon. But yeah, the syllabus, and then there will be weekly folders, so like week 1 through 8, and each week will have the things that it'll have an outline and things we do in class, and potentially different versions of them. I may post code of my own up there just for you to read. So yeah, so that's the idea. Each week I assign some reading or just a video or something. Sometimes a reading will actually be something I write, just because I find that it's easier to tailor. Like, it's easier for me to write content that's tailored exactly to this class than to go searching for textbooks or online resources, because sometimes I get a little too technical, and I just want to be able to explain things in common speech and use technical terms when necessary. Again, that's github.com/JSWithAlex, and I think that's basically all you need to know for this class. We can talk more about creating a GitHub account yourself in the class, but there's one sticky point with that, is just make sure when you do create an account and you create a new repository, just to initialize it with a README file. For some reason, if you don't initialize it with a README file, when you create that repository, it is not very easy to update on the web. Just wanted to mention that. We can review that later. Okay, excited to start the course. I'll talk to you later. Bye.